and we'll just talk to him. I'll show it a few times like I always do. Hopefully it don't glitch a whole lot. Hopefully the internet's okay. I did send a link out earlier, so hopefully some of you guys were able to see this. But we got a quick still on it, and then we got a tug from behind. They'll show it again in slow-mo. I got some questions on this for you guys. They didn't slow, so I'm sorry they didn't show this on slow-mo. So I can add some questions to the end that I think may stem a pretty good conversation. In there. Okay, so I'll go slow-mo in this. Obviously, she's clearly beat. It's not clear path foul. We're not doing that in my NBA. Trying to foul, grab. Okay. Anybody want to take that one? So this is really just a clip right here. Trying to grab her there. What we got? Referee comes in, foul, immediately goes intentional foul.
I think that's a pretty clear intentional foul. I actually learned a great lesson allowing a player in the same situation to try and finish at the rim. It was like wide open, and she actually missed the layup, and I didn't call it because I didn't want to I guess penalize the offense for the horrible defense. It was a breakaway layup, and assuming she's gonna 1-2 off the glass, nice layup, and she actually blew the call. It was kind of similar to this. It wasn't anything severe, but you could definitely tell she was making contact as the player was going down the court to try and foul. And never again. If it's there, I'm hitting it. I'm not waiting to see if there's a finish at the rim or nothing like that to bail out the defense for bad defense. So I think that's a pretty legit, easy call. No play on the ball, slapping somebody on the back or tapping them on the hip. Not necessarily dealing with how severe the contact is, but the intent. Not without trying to make a play on the ball makes it a pretty clear intentional foul to me.
Okay, thanks, Farron. Anybody anything different? I agree with a lot of things you said, but anybody anything different? Anybody think it's not an intentional foul? Anybody want to talk about the signal? Everybody good with this? Anything different?
I have nothing.
Okay.
Only because yeah, she's making an attempt to stop her, but at that point, I don't think her momentum kept going. She was not impeded or thrown off, but that's my opinion. From this angle, he's behind, so he probably thinks that he's already got a hold of her or something. I don't know. You know, I can only see it from this side, not from the guy on the other side. So, you know, if you're in good position and make that call, because it looked like she did attempt to grab her, didn't really stop her from going. But like I said, from where the referee made that call, does he really know? Because there's really no in-between look. He's pretty much straight line. Unless there's another official coming on the other court that might have a better view. But I don't see anybody.
Okay. Anybody? So we've got Mingos has nothing and Farron has an intentional foul. Anybody want to sway either way?
I'm kind of with Mingo because I did look at this earlier and I looked at it a couple times. The trail official, new lead official, he's running hard, but he's kind of straight line. He knows what the intent is based upon time and score, but I think if you run it through about 3 more seconds or less, the pretty quick C official will appear in your screen right about here, and he may have had the best look across the court, and he has nothing. Not saying that it's the end of the game, not saying that he would have called anything, but I'm kind of with Mingo. I'm not sure that you see 2 arms 3 times grab at anything, but you know what the intent is, but you don't see it. So I'm afraid that there may have been an anticipation of the play and an anticipation of the call. So I kind of agree with Mingo, at least in this look here, that, yeah, she grabbed at it, but she was grabbing and leaning forward and couldn't. I'm not even sure she made contact. But again, this is 15 feet up, 50 feet away.
Okay. She clearly makes. She makes contact twice. So I'm not saying it's excessive or anything like that. Anybody else
Okay.
before I give my 2 cents?
And if we were going the other way, she could make contact on a hand check.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, then I'm gonna make it a 2-2. It's an intentional foul. My opinion is it's an intentional foul, and it's going to be based on, if I go right to the definition, this is not a legitimate intent to play the ball. She can't play the ball. There's no way. She's trailing from behind. So you've got to make a decision here I'm not even going to get into legal guarding position. Forget that. In order to just be legal, you have to either run beside her, trying to get back in front, right? But she doesn't do that. She just comes from behind, grabs a hand on her right there, number one. If she was closer, she is literally trying to stop that girl from going to the basket. She's trying to grab her, but she is unable to. So she loses her here and then goes, you know what, let me try and get her with another hand. Now, time and score, okay, 1 point game. This is a 1A state final championship. 1 point game, 48.7. We can sit here and say time and score doesn't matter, whatever. When we're in games, we should understand time and score. I possibly, on this first one, my personal opinion, may let that one go. Okay, she's trying to foul, but she's still able. Then the second one, I'm with Farron 100% here because it's defendable on film what she's trying to do. She is trying to stop her from going to the basket. She has no attempt at the basketball. It's not excessive, though. But also, I would consider she's trying to stop the clock as well, trying to stop her from scoring. That falls to me under not making a legitimate play on it. And she misses the layup. So what are you going to say? Oops, boop, my bad. I should have come back and got it. If we just go based on this, I'm going by rule, intentional foul, and it's defendable on film. That's where I'm at. So we're at 2-2. Anybody else want to jump in and see where we're at? There's only 9 of us on here. Maybe we can get a vote and we'll go 5-4 in it and see where we're at. But that's where I am. I'm intentional foul. I'm with Farron on this one. So we got Tony, Doc, Brian, and Ron. What, y'all have anything on this?
I'd go intentional.
Okay, so they're 3-2. All right. Brian, what you got?
I had a chance to watch it earlier too, and my first reaction was the intent of her arms, of extending out her arms, and to be an intentional foul. But then you bring up the word excessive, and I was kind of, guys brought up some price. A couple of the first guys brought up a couple of good points, but the final decision was I always go with my first instinct, intentional foul. But good points by everybody.
Yeah. This is not a clear cut. Oh my God, it's intentional foul. It's not clear cut, right? Because it's not excessive. Most intentional fouls, we go right to excessive. It's like, my goodness, that's too much, right? This one's an interesting one, but it is very subtle. But I think by rule it is. Ron, what you got? Ron just making noise. Okay. All right. Ford is Bill. You got anything on this? Or Doc?
Hey, Mark.
Yes.
This is Ron. Yeah, I my initial inclination is intentional foul because there's no play for the ball. The excessive part is where it gets a little murky. But she's obviously not making a basketball play. She's trying to stop a wide open layup. So my initial thought, if I saw the hand go out twice like that, would definitely be to put a whistle on it. Intentional. Like you said, once is okay, but twice she's definitely making an effort to stop that play from proceeding. So yeah, I'd go intentional.
And hey Mark, this is Brian again. I'm glad you brought that back up, Ron. I think what you said, Mark, I thought you explained it well by, hey, maybe the first one I'm okay, but then the second one, it's like, no, there's intent there to stop her an intentional foul. And I think that's a good way of explaining it to the coach. Wait a second here. That's ticky-tacky. I know what she's trying to do, but if you can explain it to the coach the way you just explained it to us, I think you're going to sell them on that. Good.
Yep. Agreed. Yep. Okay. Appreciate it. Let's get into the next one. Good discussion. They'll get more obvious, but the discussion will be obviously more in detail. David, you want to add anything?
Yeah, Mark, I agree with you. Like you said, I think if you look where the player's located at, if we pass on this, we're going to get ourselves in a lot of trouble because she misses the layup and the twice action almost automatically put attention. I really wish the C would have been a little bit closer, where maybe even if he went with a regular foul, they could have got together and maybe reviewed it and went, hey, what did you see? Because that's what I do a lot of times. I'll go with a common foul and then review it and then upgrade it. But I think it's an intentional foul because there's no play on the ball.
Okay. Thanks,
Hey,
Doc.
Mark, quick question for you. This just came to my mind. Let's just say this official doesn't call an intentional foul. Could the crew get together and reverse it to an intentional foul?
You could, but here's what I learned this from Mac a long time, right? Is if you don't have a whistle on the play, why are you even coming to me? I think this is a great double whistle situation. New lead is clearly beat, right? So I agree with Doc. Like, I think center could be patient on this, but I think center probably has the best look. Like we discussed, we have the same camera angle. But to your point, absolutely, a crew can definitely come together and have a discussion about it. I was gonna get into, are we okay with here and here, right? Immediately coming with this signal, or do we prefer a common foul and having a conversation on this type one? Because like we were kind of 50-50 at first on this. And then my next quiz, can we come down? So if we do have an intentional foul, are we able to come down and go common foul? So let's open that up to who believes that they're okay with the signal, an intentional foul. Should we just hold a preliminary and discuss? And then let's talk about if we do go intentional, we know we can upgrade, but can we, I guess rescind would be the word. Can we bring it down from a intentional get together and go common? Who wants to touch on that?
I think, Mark, you have to be careful in getting too much information if somebody else doesn't have a second opinion to where he felt strong enough to put a whistle on it. I think what Doc said, and I said it earlier, if the center official had a whistle or there was a double whistle, and you mentioned double whistle, now you may have two different opinions, but both of them were a foul.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have, I caution, and I know it happens, that you have one whistle and a signal given and another official, and normally it's a veteran official to a lesser experienced official, will come over, and it almost looks like they try to talk them out of it. Now in the state semifinal game, probably not the case. If you have a double whistle, then you can have two differing opinions, but the key is you have a foul. But if you have one whistle and no other one, unless there is some really strong persuasion, that's something that sometimes you just gotta stand by your guns. I agree with you. If you had two whistles here, one was a common foul, the other one was an intentional, they come together because they had two different views, then you come up with it. But if you have one whistle, a signal given, the other one, just gotta be careful. And it happens. It happens, but you just gotta be careful on both sides, receiving it, but also giving it.
Yeah, and I've got two things on this situation. So what I've done with past experience is, say I'm the calling referee on this one, and I'm not 100% sure if it's intentional. It's one of those. I may go to a partner. I may go to my center and be like, yo, are you good with a comment on that? That center's not running to me, but I'm like, maybe I want to get a second opinion on this, just have a conversation. On the other side, I've gone in where I've seen a play. I'm like, yo, that looks bad. And I'll come in, I'll be like, hey, Brian, you good with a comment on that? And that just starts a conversation, right? Like, yo, you good with a comment? You okay with that? And what's happened before is What did you see on that? Well, I mean, I wasn't sure. I mean, you know, because sometimes when we're not 100% sure, we just want to get out of there. We try to crack our whistle, get out, and then we try to feel the temperature of the room. I've seen referees do it. They've gone common and be like, let me just see if I can get out of this. Because that's what we want to do. We want to get out with less heat and not having 2 shots, no one on the line. Now all the fans, like, you know, every fan says, did they give a technical foul to somebody? That's what they think right away, right? On any intentional foul, my wife does it all the time. You know, there's an intentional foul. We got 2 shots. Who got a technical foul? That's what they immediately think. And then we don't want to do that. So I'm still comes down to the communication piece for me. You know, we want to get plays right. That's number one. So however we got to do it, if we get plays right, then I think we're okay. I agree. I think 2 whistles would have been better on this. But I think either way, I think a referee can come to your partner and ask for some information, or you can go to them and just give them information. I wouldn't go running in there and say, we need to upgrade. If you ask Ben Rivers, he had a big ordeal in a college game. I feel terrible for him. He called me after the game. I said, man, I feel bad, because he kind of got bullied into something he didn't want to do and ended up getting it wrong, right? So we can't do that. For me, if you don't have a whistle on the play, you're not going to change someone else's call, right? So if the center, you need to go intentional on that. What? You didn't even have a whistle on this play. What you talking about? We going intentional. Now you can possibly go to him and say, hey, you good with that? You know, I don't know. It's interesting. It's an interesting one. But again, for me, my personal opinion, I think if we just communicate and we get plays right, that's the main focus, however we go about doing that. Anybody else want to add to that?
Yeah, Mark.
Yeah, Mark.
Mark,
Bill, go ahead. And Doc, I got you.
yeah.
Or Tony was it?
On this play, from what you said, if you came over to me, if I was a C and I didn't have a whistle, and you were just, let's say, making cautiously certain to yourself, if you came to me and said what you said, hey, I had multiple attempts, there is no doubt in my mind. You got it, partner. I saw the 2 attempts with you.
Okay.
I mean, because I can see an attempt, but if you saw the contact with that attempt and you said, I got multiples, there, you know, we're going to go with that call.
So Bill, let me ask you this. Say I'm the new lead and you're center, and I come with a common foul, and you saw these multiple touches, these multiple attempts to grab her from behind, from stopping her, not making legitimate play in the ball. And I came with a common, and I said to you, Bill, hey, what do you think about that? You think we have intentional? What would you tell me?
I'd say it's not for us to think, what did you see? And
Okay.
go with it.
That would be your response to me? Man, I wouldn't like that response, Bill.
Well, then go referee soccer.
But
You're in-
Mark,
if you're in the position and you're confident, all right,
but
don't
look at the
blow whistle
positioning.
and say, what do I think we got, guys?
No, I'm saying I got a foul.
Yeah.
I have a foul, right? I'm behind the play. I got beat. I'm not in a great position. But I'm wanting to know if we need to upgrade to an intentional. Center clearly has the best look on this play. But center decides not to blow a whistle. They're being disciplined in their primary, don't want to come out of the primary for whatever reason. And I came and said, hey, what did you see on that play? Are you going to come with information that we're going to upgrade to intentional? Or are you just going to be like, hey, that's your play?
No, I'm going to say first, what did you see?
Bill, come on, man. This is bad. This is bad partnering right here. This is not. I'm telling you this, but I'm glad we're talking about this, because this happens way too often. That's for me. I'm actually being real right now. For me, that's not a good response, and that's what we get into too much.
You told me you had multiple attempts, right? You said you had multiple contacts, okay, with 2 different hands, from behind, no attempt to play the ball, okay? Did you see that all? And they said, yeah. Hey, I'm not going to say I would, but fits criteria of something more. And then you make the call. I'm not going to blow the whistle and go over and override you.
No, that's not what I'm saying, Bill. That's not even close to what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that we're coming to a partner, a co-official, asking for possibly anytime we want to upgrade to an intentional foul, do we want to do that as a crew or we want to do that individually? For me, my personal opinion, I'd want to do that as a crew. And I'll give you a prime example was the game that we had, myself, Ralph, and Alanis. We had a situation up in that Hoop Fest where I didn't have a whistle, they had a double whistle on the play. We have a nasty, I don't know if any of y'all saw it, but it was a kid that got caught and he bent over. He didn't even know where he was at. And the kid got flipped. The kid got hurt. He had to come out of the game. The coach came on. It was a big ordeal before halftime. And we decided we had a common foul on the play. We came together and we talked as a crew of what we wanted to do. Hold on. Ron, mute yourself. I can't mute you. Okay, there he goes. But we came together as a crew to determine what we wanted to do, and it was 2-1, and that's what we went with. My personal opinion, we ended up getting it wrong, but the crew went down. For me, an intentional foul is not an individual play. It's that's not a foul. It's not just a regular common foul. That's going to be consequences. Is it 2 shots and we play on, or is it 2 shots and the ball back? There's 48 seconds in the game. This is a 1A state championship game. This is a big play. For me, there's nothing wrong with the crew talking about this play to get it right. You know, and I'm saying I think they did get it right. But my point is the trail going to new lead has a whistle on the play, but does not go intentional. And then the antennas kind of go up like, I saw her grab her. I couldn't see the extent because I'm behind the play. And I want to go ask my center for some information. Are we telling her we can't do that? Am I way off on this? Someone tell me I'm way off, because to me, that's just good partnering. That's just being a good, solid crew, making sure that we getting plays right with 48 seconds to go in a national 1A state final.
Well, first of all, Mark, this guy has no doubt about this being an intentional foul.
Right.
So me at center, I have no input to him whatsoever, because he has no doubt, because he called it almost instantaneously. Now, if he passes and he has just a common foul, I'm going to wait for him and see if I get a deer in headlights look. Am I going to, if I get a look from him like, God, was that intentional, or should I have called intentional? Then I'm going to come over to him and I'm going to talk to him. I really hate to over partner, if you will, and I don't need to use that term lightly, but at some point you got to trust your partner. Now, I trusted him when he came up with an intentional. I would never go over and say, "Oh, I don't think that was an intentional foul." Sorry. He came out and he was solid and he was sure. Now, he calls a common foul. Now I have doubt in my mind, and I need to know what he's thinking. Do I go over there? Me, probably not, but I have had the good fortune of having good partners that in that position, they look at that foul, they call a common foul and they go, and then they come to the partners and say, what do you think? And that's good partnering right there. I mean, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I'm totally with you on that. I'm glad. Anyone else?
No, Mark, I agree. If you're gonna upgrade to an intentional foul, let's just say this guy comes up with a common foul. If he's gonna upgrade, I think it's got to be a crew decision. I don't think the guy's gonna blow his whistle and then turn around and then signal this like 5 seconds later. I don't think that looks great. But on the flip end of that, if he called an intentional foul, I don't think you could rescind it. I think the whole crew's gonna lose credibility. He called it. Stick with it. He was confident with it. But if you're going to upgrade it, it's got to be a crew decision.
Okay. Farron, you got something?
Yeah, I had a question. So if the new lead does have just a common foul on that, mechanically, so if I'm to see him coming down and I see he just has a common foul, and I see that it could have possibly be upgraded to an intentional foul, but I don't have a whistle. What I've seen, like the C comes in, he doesn't have the whistle, but his fist is up without the whistle. kind of like to close down on the play to kind of offer
secondary help, whatever. Some assistance.
Secondary help. He doesn't have the whistle, but he's coming down the court and he closes down with the fist to kind of double up to, we definitely kind of, it gives the impression that we definitely got something. We got two officials with the same call, but he's really coming in to offer some basically some more information, like you were saying, hey, you good with the common foul on that, because in his mind, he's thinking that it could be a legit intentional foul. What are your thoughts on that?
You don't want to hear my thoughts on that. No, I'm just joking. We had a referee that used to do that all the time. Not in this situation. Would always just like run in with a fist. I'd be like, "Yo, man, what are you doing?" I do. Hey, you take it. Well, Mark, what was the number? I don't know what the number was, man. You keep coming in over here with this secondary stuff. But that's just a side joke. I don't like someone coming in with a fist if you don't, just to go and support, but I have no problem with a referee coming in. So to your point, Farron, yeah, they come in. For me, it cosmetically looks so much better when you have two referees talking, right? They're talking, hey, coach, hold on real quick. Hold on. The other official just tell them to hold on. And then we come out with an intentional, like in this situation, which it is an intentional. Now you got two referees agreeing on the situation. It just looks so much better because you could say, hey, coach, it's to go tell a coach in this situation, right? We're talking about no intentional foul, and then we upgrade it to an intentional. The calling official can say, hey, coach, I wasn't 100% sure. I know that your girl grabbed from behind. I went to talk to my partner. We had a good discussion. He also had a great look on it, and we deemed it to be intentional for these reasons. So that coach is going to tell you, just going to disagree with you. But if you come out immediately with an intentional and you're not 100% sure, right? I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about that you are not, and that's why we have to be careful coming out immediately with intentionals if we're not 100% sure, but we can always upgrade. And I agree with Tony. I agree with Brian. For us to upgrade needs to be a crew decision, and I believe it cosmetically just looks so much better because typically what will happen, and I've seen it happen so many times. You'll come out with intentional foul, and the crew's like, I've been in games where a referee's called intentional. I'll be like, yo, I just didn't think that was intentional, right? Then the coach starts, go ask your partner, go do this, and then they start trying to turn everybody against each other, right? That's why we got to be really good with our body language too. We can't be doing that because so many times we'll look away or our body language will be bad, and we're actually really selling our partner underneath, under the bus doing that. So to your point, Farron, I agree with the referee closing in and having, but I do not agree with them coming in with a fist high just to support. Now, if you want it to be a delayed whistle and you come in with a secondary cadence, that's fine. But I think what you're talking about is they have no whistle and then they see it and then like a couple seconds later, they want to run in with a fist up. I'm not for that at all, my personal opinion, because that's you coming in doing, stuff that you shouldn't be doing. But coming in with some information, I can support 100%. Anybody else want to add to it? If you agree with me, don't. But if you disagree, I would love to hear from you.
Yeah, I don't think anybody can come in secondary with a hand up with a fist just to show support.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be doing that. And if we're going to if we're going to upgrade it, it's got to be the whole crew, and the whole crew has to agree on it.
Agreed. Thanks, Marvin. Anyone else got anything different? Okay.
Hey, Mark.
Yes, Ron.
So I got a case play for this. Actually, we had a game. I'll make it short, but we had a problematic player. We identified him in the pregame, and I'm sure you remember this. I was at lead, and we're going back the other way, and the kid grabs the rebound. And actually, I turned to trail. We're going back the other way. The kid grabs a rebound. The problematic kid, a kid gets aggressively up on him, and an elbow is swung. So I come fist up, and I wait until they separated, and I start walking towards the table, and then I get my two other co-officials come over, and we're talking about, is it intentional? Is it flagrant? It should have been flagrant. And I can't remember what we ended up doing with it. But why I bring it up is because it was that type of thing where all three of us had input. And the C, I was straight lined with the defender who came up and played aggressively against him. I saw the elbows extend, but I did not see what happened before that. Long story, this told me I don't think we should go flagrant because it looked like he was fouled by the yeah. So the aggressive kid came and fouled him before the elbow. I think we should just keep it intentional. And I got some other input, and I think we did intentional. I don't think we went flagrant, and we got it wrong because I kind of took the input from the other people. It really shouldn't have mattered if he was fouled before that. It should have been a flagrant foul. So we kicked it, but that's a case where we actually took crew input and we got it wrong. So I think it's important to it, but as a calling official, you have to, and I had to go with your initial inclination, which I thought it should have been a flagrant. I don't think the elbows made contact, or marginal contact. It made contact, but so anyways, I just wanted to add that kind of as a situation where we got input, but I think I still got it wrong because I kind of talked out of it.
Yeah, and I remember exactly the play. As soon as you start talking around, I'm like, yep, I remember the play. I got the film and all that stuff, and I totally agree. Like just Ron said, he learned from it on plays that like this one. He is 100. Like to Tony's point, he comes in strong with his intentional foul, right? He knows what he saw. He saw the 2 irons grab. Boom, I'm coming in. Same thing on the flagrant foul. If you know, you need to immediately go there, like for sure. I'm talking about the ones that we're not 100% sure on. If we want to upgrade, the antennas are kind of there, but they don't. Our instinct is we think so. We're not 100% sure. But it's always good. And this happened before where we had a foul. Boom, man, that was a lot. And then a partner comes in. What you got, Mark? What do you think? I think that's intentional. Yeah, we're gonna roll with. That's all. Sometimes you need. You just need your partner to come in and just give you a little bit of support, especially when it's really good when you know that person. That's when it's really good. When you have a great relationship with that referee and you know how they call and you have it. And that's why I'm so big on building great relationships within a crew, because when that happens and you come in, boom, 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 hey, that's what and then we just press on and we're good. Now, I did want to talk about rescinding stuff. This is interesting, okay? I didn't know this, but you can rescind. You can rescind technical fouls, intentional fouls, all those type things based on if we're kicking a rule. Okay, so a situation happened was they gave a technical foul to a coach, but they got the rule absolutely wrong. So that was a situation I didn't know about, and this came from actually UIL, that they gave a technical foul to a coach based on saying that he was out of his box, and they came together and he was not even close to out of his box. He was sitting down in his chair. They got really confused. They got rattled, whatever. They didn't rescind it because they didn't think they could. And I'll get that for you. I actually can get the clip, but I didn't know that. If anyone has anything different, but this came from, again, up in UIL. I talked to someone up there, and they said that we can rescind technical fouls based on if we're going to kick a rule. So I'm not saying if it's a judgment. Don't get me wrong, a judgment, right? Something like this. Or if we said we give a technical foul for, say we're running down the floor and we hit a coach, but they're out of bounds, but we run out of bounds. We turn around, we whack the coach. And then I come to you, say, Mingo runs a coach over there in their box. And I say, what did you do? I gave a technical foul to that coach because he was on the floor. No, Mingo, he wasn't. He was in his box. You ran outside on the floor and you ran right into him. My question is, can we rescind that? Based on a rule, we're giving a technical foul for a ruling that we're wrong. Anybody want to jump on that?
Oh, I concur. If you violated the rule and you made a call and it's not follow what the rule tells you to, you could rescind it.
Anyone else disagree or agree?
I agree.
Okay.
You can come in and make it right, but I want to go back to that play. where we know that the intent is to stop that player from making a goal, okay? But was her progress impeded? Was she
Yeah,
able
but
to continue to make a layup?
but that's not on
We
the.
got to
That's not
remember that just
that's not a
because
rule of
she's
intentional
making,
foul, though, Mingo.
just because she's making an attempt, you know, is she impeded? Did she lose the ball? Did she fall on the floor? I mean, to me, you know, she wasn't able to really stop her. So, yeah, she had a chance to make the layup and she blew it, you ask me. But that's just my opinion. Now, if someone who wants to come in and call it otherwise, I'm not going to argue. We talk about it in the locker room because I'm not going to argue about it because you might have had a better look. But I'm just saying from what the look where that official has, yeah, I see the girl reaching, but if that girl's still moving and driving to the basket, how can you call an intentional foul?
Right there. Can you see my screen? Did I share it?
I have it.
Okay. It's got nothing to do with it being impeding progress. It's got nothing to do with that. Intentional foul doesn't fall under that. It contact that is not legitimate attempt
Look
to
at the
play the
rule
ball.
book.
I'm
It's in
looking
the
at it right
rule
now.
book.
I have it right here in front of me. This is an intentional foul right here. So if you go to C, criteria C, contact that is not a legitimate attempt to play the ball. That's it right there.
Exactly. That's the key word. Where's the contact? Did her
She
shirt
grabs-
come out? I can understand if the shirt came out, but if she grabbed her, the shirt would be out.
Where does it
You
say
don't
here,
know that
Mingo?
from what
Where
you're
does it
seeing.
say? Where does it say contact where the shirt has to come out?
But
It
where's
says
the contact?
Well, she grabs her twice.
I don't see it. I don't see it. But then again, I could be wrong.
Right there.
And
There's
if I
one.
get
You see?
it, and
You
if
see
I
it right
get
there?
it wrong, I get it wrong. But I
There's
just think the
contact one.
contact, if there's contact, then she should be like already falling down or losing part of the dribble.
Mingo, where does it say contact you fall down? It doesn't say how hard the contact is. It never says that. It doesn't say
Well,
contact. If you so on a ball handler dribbler, if we're saying that contact you don't fall to the ground, that it's not a foul.
where do we say what happens to let the play finish? She had a chance to finish the play, right?
No, we
And
don't
she
let.
missed. She blew the layup. Play it.
No,
Finish it.
No,
Finish it. Finish.
That's
Run. Run the clip.
Mingo, the foul is there and there. That's two grabs, right? So foul. If we let the play finish, then it'd be an and one or a shooting foul. But she clearly gets fouled way prior to even her shoot motion. Her second foul is there. She takes another dribble.
Well,
By
maybe I need
rule,
glasses. Maybe
by-
I need glasses.
I mean, I like the
Yeah.
conversation. I'm just saying by rule, that is contact. We got to agree with that. That's contact. I'm not saying it's egregious contact. It's, but it's contact that's not legitimate. Now, if she's in front of her or by the side of her, we got a different story. Right? If she's on the
Yeah,
side of
I
her and
agree.
she's trying to make attempt of
I
the
agree.
ball, but the difference is
totally
there's
agree with you.
no way she gets to the ball. Okay.
I totally agree with you. I just, in this play, I just don't see it.
Okay.
I agree with you. I'm not trying to disagree
No,
with you. I just,
this is good. I have no problem. You disagree. I'm not saying I'm right. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not what I say is right all the time. I'm just saying that is contact by rule. That's contact.
I agree with everybody saying come together and, talk about it. I have no problem with that either. I just, on this play, I just don't see it. That's all. Now, if the outside official comes in and blows it, I'm not going to argue it because he probably had a better look than me.
No.
I'm just saying for me, from where I'm coming from and where that official was, I have to make sure that, she was impeded on going to the basket. And I didn't see that.
Okay. Well, then take this one then. Okay. Then let's see if you would
No, this one's easier. Except
Okay.
for,
Yeah, I remember that
except
one.
for the officials.
I know.
I don't like what the official did at the end to the coach. But
Well, here, let's watch this one. Okay. Mingo, you can take it first, and we'll get to it. This will be a longer conversation. Okay. The shirt didn't come out, Mingo, but it sure came close to coming out. So what do you got on
Okay.
this one?
Go back to the throw-in. Because I thought I saw something before the throw-in.
you're gonna call.
Because I think there was a foul. I think there was a foul that happened before when the throw-in was made. that there should have been a whistle. Right there. There should have been a whistle.
This one
When
right
she
here.
reached over her, right there should have been a foul.
Agreed.
So, but no whistle. So
There.
there was contact there again. So there's two plays there where there's, and like you say, close game, you know, I'm calling a foul. I'm not gonna wait till, oh shoot, they didn't call those two. Shit, I'm gonna make sure, I'm gonna push her and make
Right.
sure she gets a foul. Because you can see after that, the coach is irate because she probably knew that they fouled earlier. Now she's getting hit with an intentional. My opinion.
Yep. Agreed. So the coach is not happy. Okay.
Yeah, because she felt that her players fouled earlier before the intentional. There was two fouls right there. The first one and then the bump and then the intentional came in. That's why she was upset, because she knew that her girls had fouled earlier.
Agreed. Okay, so I'm pretty sure everybody agrees this is an intentional foul. I agree we missed the first two. Totally agree with you, Mingo. Right, but please tell me no one thinks this is a common foul. We're on the same page for that one, right? Okay, good. All right.
Hey, Mark,
Yeah.
I want to throw this out here real quick, and I want to get everyone's opinion on this. I'm comparing it to the last play where the girl has a legitimate chance to score a bucket. Where here, she's not going to score the bucket. She's going to pass it around. She's not going to the basket. We call this an intentional foul. I agree. However, we should probably have more intentional fouls called throughout the game, because we have guys and ladies going and grabbing people's shirt to try to stop the clock. And by rule, yeah, you've gotten it right. It's an intentional foul. But I think sometimes that we call a common foul because, I mean, I've always learned that you use the rules to solve a problem, not to create a problem. And they may have created a problem. I disagree. I think the lady's upset because they called an intentional foul.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry. That's a different clip. Never mind. I'm sorry. This is the offensive coach. Never mind. Anyway, that's I just wanted to get people's opinions on a girl or a guy with a legitimate chance to score a bucket like the last play versus this play where she's not trying to score. I don't think it has anything to do with it in the rule, but I just want people's opinions as far as game management.
Well, my opinion is this is why I even decided to do this presentation, because we're not consistent at all on these type of plays. All of us, myself included, everybody on here. With it, thereby by rule, it's an intentional foul, right? But again, we crack our whistle and then we wait for the temperature of the room to determine is what we want to do. And I think we're very, very inconsistent on this, but we do have the rule to support us. I don't know if I'm going to change the way I officiate, right? Well, I'm sure, Marvin, what do you hear? I mean, are you hearing from coaches we're not doing that, or we just don't do it?
You, like you've said in the past, we've watched a lot of games, and there are a lot of situations where an intentional foul could have been called but was not called and was given a common foul. And by rule, we could do that, but we still have to go by the judgment of the official based on the rule. So, and you're right, we're not very consistent within the chapter of calling intentional fouls, particularly at close to the end of the games when you have scores like you've got, very few seconds left in the game. Our tendency within the chapter is just to call a common foul instead of potential foul, unless somebody just takes somebody out. And we're inconsistent in doing that, but our more quality officials that have excellent judges and superb rule knowledge are the people that'll get on that long before other officials will.
I think what we also do, again, because like I said, me and Marvin watch a ton of games, is that we won't call it early. Like say this happened in the first 3 minutes, you know, we may not call it, right? Just tell the girl, hey, yeah, you stop that, don't do that again type thing, right? And then at the end of the game, we do call it. And then coaches are going absolutely crazy. Well, you didn't call it at the beginning of the game. Now you want to call it here. And we get ourselves on both situations. Either we don't call it early and then we call it late. They're upset because we're not consistent. Or we don't call it at the end of the game and we probably should. And then coaches are upset. I think what we need to do as a chapter, and Frank, remind me, but when we do get into Zoom meetings or whatever we do for our first meeting, is we need to, I'm working with DDR to get a library. Some of you heard me before, a library of plays. So if we've got perimeter travels, we got post travels, we got intentional fouls, technical fouls. We're going to have the rule, and then we're going to have 2 to 3 clips that are intentional fouls, and then we'll have 2 to 3 clips that are not. But this is a library that we can go to. We're trying to create like a website where we can go, and that, I think that would help us be more consistent, because we can talk about it until we see it. And we got to see what an intentional foul is, what's a common foul, what's a flagrant, what's a double, a double foul. Once we start getting into those, having a library of plays, I think would help us. But I agree with Marvin. We're not consistent, and he hears from the coaches all the time about this. So it's something that we just got to keep getting. And I appreciate you saying that, Brian. It stemmed a good conversation because, yeah, I'm with you.
Hey, Mark, I think on your suggestion there about the library, I think that means that folks can get experience without going through the experience,
right.
without being in the heat. You can see it and have an understanding. But let me share this. When I was here the first time, and then I left and I went to Colorado and I was doing IABO, I had a pretty big game in Colorado Springs first year with 2 veteran officials. One dude's doing NFL replay, another dude's doing Division I. And it was midway through the second quarter. This kid grabbed another kid. He was going up for a rebound. He put both arms around him, and he stopped him from getting him because he was mad because the kid stole the ball from him. I was right there coming at it, intentional. The 2 officials did not come up to me at all. They didn't say anything. I went and reported intentional. We did what we needed to do. We go in at halftime. These 2 veteran officials were kind of not saying too much and this and that. And the assigner, and I think, Marvin, Bob Lancey up there in Colorado, he walks in, he says, hey, guys, what do you think about Frank's intentional? Now, all of a sudden, they started opening up, and they go, I don't know about that. That kind of set a precedent. He goes, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with setting what the standard is of what they can and can't do in the second quarter, as opposed to waiting to the last 32 seconds of a game, and then we have to decide, and everybody has to guess. And Mark, you hit it a little bit earlier about calling it early, and Marvin did too, or we wait until the last. If it's an intentional, it's an intentional. And sometimes it may be a little gray area, but yeah, time and distance may matter, and time and score may matter. But if it's an intentional in the first quarter, it's an intentional at the last, and vice versa. And I learned that then when they were like, I don't know. We set a precedent. What's wrong with setting a precedent then in the second quarter, as opposed to waiting to 32 seconds left in the fourth quarter?
Yep. Yeah, agreed. It takes courage too. Don't get me wrong. It takes courage to make these calls. They're defendable by the rule. You'll be okay. Who was what you got? Someone wanted to talk. Go for it.
Hey, Mark, just Ron again. That's just as far as you guys saying about putting some plays out there. I think that's a good idea, because I see it almost every other game. The kind of casual tug at the jersey on an inbound, or the kind of lean and wrap. Nothing that impedes the progress, but our kids will kind of lean on them, maybe kind of wrap them up a little bit, or kind of tug on their shorts real quick. So something like that. I've seen common fouls put on it. I've seen intentional fouls, but especially on inbounds, it seems like kids are leaning and wrapping and stuff like that. So I think if we could get some plays to figure out what's a common foul, what's an intentional foul, because quite frankly, for me, if it's not really egregious, I just hit them with a common foul. And sometimes I don't hit them with anything if it didn't impede their progress. But so I think something like that, as far as seeing it as a chapter, then we could maybe officiate it a little bit more uniformly.
Absolutely. Yep. Agreed. All right. So we're past the intentional foul in this. Someone talk to me about everything that happens after, and I can go back in slow-mo, right? I know Frank had said some stuff, and Frank, you can say some stuff after, but anybody else want to discuss the calling referee, the non-calling referee, where the other referee is, where he or she is at? Let's just kind of walk through this.
Hey,
Lots
that
of
almost
confusion.
looks like my play at Cornerstone.
Yeah.
No communication.
Yeah, it's a lot of confusion, right? So anybody want to take it from here, and I can go through it right when he has the intentional. So we can talk about the coach first. You want to talk about the coach, the behavior. We can talk about the non-calling referee in front of the coach. Then we can talk about the calling referee, and then we can talk about the communication piece from there on out. Anybody want to take it? I don't mind going through it, but if anyone else would like to, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that right off the top was there's no communication between the calling official and the non-calling official. Anything like that, technical, intentional, I'm going to find closest partner just to talk through what we have, let them know how we're moving forward, so they can keep the flow of the game going, adjudicate whatever's coming up, free throws and all that good stuff. But it looks like, I don't know, they just have no interest in talking to each other at all. She's trying to find the ball. He's beelining to the table. I mean, I don't know the actual mechanics, so I'm not sure if it's like a report go away or what's going on. She's coming all the way across the other side of the court, but very confusing after the whistle's been blown. A lot of confusion on my end.
Yep, agree with everything you said. Anyone else want to add to it? Not repeat, add to it. So my question, go ahead.
I think he sells this call so his partners are cognizant of what's going on. They may not feel they need to come talk or ask or get together because he sells this call from the beginning to the end, because he's already walked out to the 3-point line with his hands together up above his head, indicating to get that done. So as you can see, he started way back there. Now, of course, they're doing some things that I disagree with, walking through the paint, getting to where we need to get, walking between the players to get to the table. But it is a 3-person crew, but still there's some stuff there that we could have done better for a high school mechanic. And then when he gets to report, I think this is where his officials could help him out, because the coach is very adamant about the call and maybe asking questions, and they could kept her down to where the coach's box is more so than letting her come out to help him out. But then again, after he reports the foul, now he approaches the coach, and the conversations, he's doing one thing, and I guess he's giving her a piece of his mind when he should have, right here, instead of going to the coach, he should have just let that young lady, the female, take care of it, and then he'd get out of there. Because now he's baiting her. Wait for that one moment that she's going to say something so she gets assessed a technical foul. So there's a lot of little things there that we could have done a little bit better, I believe.
Thanks, Marvin. Anyone else want to add to it?
Yeah, I also think that his female partner could have helped him out a whole lot there. I think how in the world can you be in front of that coach when she's screaming and hollering in your back and right in the back of your ear and not turn around and address her and try to protect your partner that is coming over? And then she walks away at the end when, after the guy reports the foul, she walks away toward the other end and talks to the other coach. That's not where the volatile situation is. She needs to help her partner that just made I don't think it's a controversial call, but made a controversial call. And she didn't do that. And that's the fault I see.
Thanks, Tony. Agreed. Anybody else want to add to it?
I'll pile on.
Go ahead, Frank.
I'm not sure that the female official, she kind of got confused because she was getting ready to go across from the table, and then she decided, okay, that's not the spot to go, and I'll go talk to the other coach. If you back it up a little bit, and male, female, it doesn't matter, but when that official followed that coach like he does, whether it's male, female, vice versa, same sex, it doesn't matter. But now watch, he goes and gets her. She comes back, he gets her. And when I watched this earlier today, when you sent that out, he's off the court. He's in her coaching box now. There's everything from then on is wrong. From his perspective, from the crew's perspective, everything. And Marvin said it and somebody else said it. It's almost like baiting, but he's walking her down. And now, regardless on the sexes, that's disrespectful to a coach. He's barking at her. She's turned her back on him. And it doesn't matter, male, female. The coach turned your back. The coach is now telling you, we're done. And you kind of got to say, we're done unless you're going to get him and walk away. So when I watched this earlier today, I was like getting ready to Google and find out more about this because that was pretty difficult. And I could almost see some things from there in Minnesota. And I'm thinking if they're playing in their college location, it's a big game, that there had to be some ramification somewhere because what as an official to that coach, and then there was no other technicals or anything. So evidently she didn't hit the right word. Man, there was 10 times bad there, real bad. Done.
Okay, anyone else?
I hate to defend myself here a little bit. My reference to her being a female official was to identify her. It had nothing to do with her sex. Okay.
Oh, yeah, we knew that.
So,
No, Tony, you're good. I just said it because it was a female. That's why I said any female, and I know you, Tony. You're not. That doesn't matter. A coach is a coach.
that's
No,
correct.
we're good. No, we're good.
Okay, anyone want to add anything to it? All right, so we'll and I agree with everything that we're saying. I thought we broke it down pretty good. I agree with Tony. It starts with our co-official, right? We've got to understand it's 55-54, end of the ball game, big game. They're playing on a college floor. We can only imagine it's a state final game or a regional game, whatever it may be. I don't know why we're so concerned about this dang basketball. I think we've talked about it almost every
She went to
meeting
grab the
that
ball. She had to grab the ball. You're right.
we always want to worry about the ball. We need to be our antennas need to be up at the end of the game when we're the calling referee or we're the non-calling referee. He comes with an intentional foul, emphatic. Like, I actually like the way he sells it. I'm cool. Like, all right, I know he has an intentional foul. As a co-referee right in front of the opposing team that is down, I'm assuming they're down, that's why they're fouling at the end of the game, I have to have some awareness that this coach is about to go off. I don't care about the basketball. I need to know what we have on the floor. Okay, we have an intentional foul. I know that. We would typically, to Farron's point, we want to go slow that referee down. We do need to slow him down, but what's more important, slowing him down or taking care of this coach first? I think the coach needs to be taken care of. Where's our other referee? We don't see this referee the whole time. There's 10 players in the backcourt. This referee should be at the division line. And in a press coverage, we should have all three referees in the backcourt. That referee needs to come in and grab this person. This female referee, that's her responsibility from the get-go, because we don't want to be giving technical fouls to this coach if we don't need to, right? Turn to them, armor, coach, I got you, whatever. And I don't like to talk about female and female, but I'm pretty sure that she will respond better to a female. I'm just being honest. I work college women's, and we have those conversations. There's been females say, hey, I get on really well with this coach. Have at it. Go ahead. If you can help the situation better than me going over there, please do, because that's better for the game if you can take care of it. I think she could have fixed everything. She takes care of this coach. This referee definitely needs to slow down. The anxiety is very high. Like to Marvin's point, my man is beelining to the table. If the other referee would have slowed him down and talked, then we would have been, I think it would have been okay. We'd have got this coach down a little bit. I believe that this referee, the calling referee, does at some point need to come over and have a conversation with the coach, because coach is going to want an explanation. And if I'm the female referee, I'm telling coach, just hold on for a second. He'll be over here in a little bit to explain his call, right? I'm not sure what he had, because she probably had the same look. Like, coach, I'm not sure. We couldn't see on the backside, and you got to trust your partner. Like the way he comes with this is he saw something that we did not see. You to someone's point earlier, we got to trust him. Yeah, and then I think that would have fixed everything, okay? But let's get past that. Sorry, my man, Doc. So let's get past that, right? That I think would have fixed everything. We're worried about the basketball. Here we go, this, and this. At this situation, the coach, we got to address the coach before we report. I think everybody can agree with that, right? Coach, this is probably a hand. We probably need to back up too. Like continuing to close that gap is not helping the situation, because she's still technically very close to her box. So if I'm this referee, I'm probably going to step away and just possibly give a soft hand, right? We always talk about the stern hand. This is probably just a soft one. Coach, hold on real quick. Just coach, hold on real quick. That's what I'm probably trying to do in this situation. Again, it would have been better if the female would have taken care of her responsibility on that side of the floor. I don't like that we get so close to the table, because we're basically reporting while she's still yelling at us, right? We can't do that. We need to get her back in her box, take care of that, right? I may even say to this, hey, can you please take care of this coach real quick while we figure out what we're doing? I may even put some pressure on that referee to take care of her responsibilities over here. Then we get away, we go with the intentional foul. We have no idea who's shooting the intentional foul, right? And that's why I think it's vital when we always talk about the off referee. The third referee in this situation, where are they, right? We had the same situation when we brought it up with, I think it was Mike Daniels, Jay Curtis, and I think it was Mosley, I believe. And I don't mind saying it because it's our group. But again, the furthest referee from the play is doing nothing. In these situations, we all have to be highly engaged. So I think the third referee could have come in and helped. Obviously, the players split, which is good. They kind of help us in this situation. Imagine these players were getting into some other situations going on, talking. Oh, it would have been an absolute disaster. So luckily for the crew, no one's watching the players, but they kind of disperse into their own groups, which is something that actually really, really helped them. We can get into, if this is a situation where the referee may need to get away from the table for a little bit, maybe go opposite table and get an opportunity to come up. That may, why she's so heated, that may work in this situation. It may be better for him to report his intentional, get opposite the table, and then maybe after we've shot the first one, if she's calmed down, get over or get over there the next opportunity that he can. There's some people may say, wait till the next dead ball, wait a couple trips. We may not have a couple trips. This could be maybe 3-4 seconds left in the game. You can't ignore this coach and not, give her explanation what happened, because that will really frustrate her even more. To Frank's point, I don't know. I'm torn on this one. I don't like this right here from this coach. This has to be a warning. We have to give a warning. It has to be addressed, at least addressed. Like beep, we're probably gonna have a warning in the book. I'm not saying go technical foul. This clearly warrants a technical foul. It's defendable on film. And that's when we get into these gray areas, what we're talking about, understanding situations, this and this. But I think it needs to be addressed. I think everybody could agree with that. We need to address this situation, get her back in her box. Then we proceed, and then we got to press on. It's a tough situation, but I think what I wanted to bring up on this is we know it's an intentional foul. We agree on that, but it's the partnering piece, right? We can pregame this till we're, blue in the face, but instead of, and if us not doing it, and when it happens, right, it really hurts the crew. Because I don't think the calling referee really did a ton wrong. Got the play right. I thought he sailed it pretty well. He was precise. His anxiety was very high. That happens. All of us do it. In this situation, if it's a state final game, 1-point game, our anxiety's high. Where's the third referee in this? That's what I say. And what's our co-referees doing? It's interesting how we're talking about two referees that didn't even have a whistle on the play. And this way it comes into, we've been talking about this all freaking 3-4 months in our crew chief meetings about the communication piece and how important everybody is doing their role. And they failed miserably within their roles of what they're supposed to do in this. And that's what the bottom line is on this. Anybody want to add to this? If
Mark, if
anything I
can.
missed, yep, go
No,
ahead.
no,
Mark.
you got it all. Let me just add real quick, and I think
Got
we've
you next,
talked
Doc.
about this before about the self-talk. If you back it up, I think as the calling official called the foul, he had the foul. But it seemed as he walked over to report the foul, his priority didn't seem to be reporting the foul. If it was NCAA mechanics, that wasn't it. If it was National Federation mechanics, that wasn't it. It seemed that he had a priority to address the coach first, then do a side over. As you said, he's too close to the table. So I think the other learning point, we talked about the two non-whistle officials. I think the other thing that we have to take in, and that's that self-reflection, is you have a call like that, a big call, big time, that you have to take that breath for a second and process it and make sure, like you said, shooters, numbers, all of that, and process that over. So you individually have to calm down if your crew doesn't help you. Because if you watch him, when he comes over, his mechanic from the books that we know are nowhere. He goes to tell the coach he has an intentional, no one else, because he ran right to the coach. So from a mechanic standpoint, reporting a foul, he's in no man's land now, unless he was the official standing right there as the C. So I think you can learn from the calling official that you make a call like that, calm it down. Maybe your partners help you to calm it down, but take a little second to kind of think it through as you go over. Because he beelined right to her, like he was telling her, I have an intentional foul on your team. And I think that added to potentially what went on, and he caught her while she was outside the box. So I think that as an individual, you have to also slow things down if you can. If not, that's where the partners come in to slow you down.
Yep, good points. Totally agree. Doc, you got something?
Yeah, Mark, and I'm just going to back up. I think you're right about him selling the call, but I think I'm just going to play devil's advocate. I think the two officials, this might have been this guy's demeanor the whole game, and maybe he's taking that away, because both officials seem like they'll be like, okay, that's him again. The third official doesn't even come up court, and she grabs the ball and like, okay, well, whether he's been calling all over the court, and it's just like you said, his anxiety is like, I'm not slowing down for anything. And I think I don't know what it is, but it does look like the crew has been together for a while, and it looks like everyone's upset. Because the official that took the ball, she just like grabbed the ball and threw it down and was like, let me get out of the area as quick as possible, because this is what's been going on all game long type thing.
Oh, Doc, I could only imagine you're probably 100% right. However, that's not defendable, though. I agree with you. How many times have we worked with referees that are very, very dominant, right? And they blow all over the place and those type of things? That doesn't make an excuse. We're just as bad as them if we don't do. Now, if I try to stop that referee and they just blow me off, okay, I'm still trying to do my part, right? But I agree. That's something that we have to be better as, and it's so hard. And I'm not saying I'm not good at it. I don't think a lot of us are. When we work with referees that want to dominate the game, that don't, blow all over the place, don't want to communicate with you, those type things. You know, that's something, unfortunately, we have to put behind us and do what's best for the game. Because let's just say, oh, there he goes again. I'm not doing nothing. I'm just going to get out the way. Never address that coach, you know, and then boom, whack. Now he sticks the coach. Now we've got intentional foul. Now we got technical foul. We got 4 shots on the ball back, and there's 4 seconds left in the game. I'm just, you know, just putting it out there. That could clearly happen, right? So that's why we have to step up no matter the situation and have courage and do what's right for the game. But I agree, Doc. I could only imagine. We could just, for this small clip, we can kind of I agree with you. You kind of see it. You can kind of see that she doesn't want no part of it. She's like, he's doing it again. And you're probably right. The referee in the back and all the way in the front court don't wants no part of it, you know. But, you know, again, not defendable on film. Your sign is not going to say, okay, David, why didn't you do nothing? Why? That guy was all over the place, man. It's just, you know, I'm sure Marvin, that you ain't going to slide with that. You know what I mean? So, anywho, anybody want to, I think, Mingo, you got your hand up. This is our last one. We're going to close here in like 4 minutes, but what you got, Mingo?
Yeah, I can relate totally to this play because it happened to me,
right,
in the boys' game. And of course, Mark, you were there when it happened. And my emotions got the best of me because after officiating 20 plus years, when this finally happens to you, it's like, holy shit, what do you do? And I handled it not very well. Then again, my co-officials weren't there to help me also. So I was like, I'm not blaming them, but I could have done a better job. And it's a good thing that we talk about it because until it happens to you, you'll know what I'm talking about. So this discussion is good because, like I said, until it happens to you, you're going to know what to do. So on a go-forward basis, I tell you what, if this ever happens to me again, I know what to do. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, Mingo, I agree. I don't think there's been many fight or intentional foul situations where the crew have done everything perfect. I'm talking NBA to Division I to high school to middle school. Like, it's just not. There's procedures we have, but it doesn't mean that it's going to work out perfectly. Like, I actually had 2 other clips where the referees get in there, they grab players, they do all that. I think they do a really good job of separating players and diffusing the situation. But then so many people can say, what are they even doing in there? Referees shouldn't get in there. We need to get away. We need to watch benches. We need to do this, 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 and this. To me, there's no perfect way to handle those atypical plays. Just your instincts have to they're just going to kick in. Some referees are going to be like, oh my God, and just step back. Some are going to want to get in there. Others are going to, you know, continue to blow the whistle. Some may get in and separate. Some may go straight to the benches. I mean, everybody's going to do things different. All we can do is when we watch these is pick out things that we're consistently seeing and things that we can control. Like, you can definitely control that coach over there. I'm not talking about fight where if I decide to get in, but Tony Schaefer decides not to get in. Okay, that's just difference, right? Maybe I'm younger and Tony's like, forget this. I ain't trying to do this. Like, I got to get up. I don't want to hurt my knee. I got to get up tomorrow, whatever, right? But for whatever reason, that's something different. But I'm talking about if this happens in a game, I think all of us can agree that referee by the coach needs to do something, and she decides not to. There's a teaching point, right? Where's the third referee? They need to be involved. They need to be engaged. Even if they were just helping with the shooter, right? Asking the co-referee, hey, we got intentional foul. Who's shooting? Okay, this is going to be the shooter. Okay, then they're going to shoot 2. Where are we putting the ball? Oh, it's point interruption. Okay, we got to put it back on the end line. Those type things, right? They're not even doing that. So there's a lot of teaching points from this. So I thought this was good. I appreciate all the comments. It's always good to have you guys on. I'm actually headed back to San Antonio tonight, but I do appreciate you jumping on. I'll be honest, I'm getting a little disappointed where we're getting closer to the season and our numbers are dropping off. I don't know why, but, you know, we used to have 27 of us on here for our crew chief meetings, and they continue to get smaller. We used to have 50 to 60 on our other ones, and now we're getting down to 20, 25. I don't know. Just it's nothing mandatory, right? But I do appreciate you guys, the ones that always get on, that maybe a little more flexible. And Marvin's always on. And me and Marvin have talked about this. Like, for people putting in all this time and energy, you're gonna get opportunities. Like we've talked about it with Marvin, and especially with the younger ones. But I know Marvin would feel very comfortable putting up and coming referees with everybody on this meeting. I know that for a fact. I don't even need Marvin to speak on that, right? That's kind of our role in this new season coming up, that we've got a lot of up and coming referees, and we need to get them, where we need to get them. And it's going to be based on the ones that are getting in this group consistently. And then we just continue to share this information with everybody else. So I really do appreciate you guys jumping on and sharing your knowledge. And you too, Farron, out in Corpus. For y'all that don't know Farron, he's the head trainer in Corpus Christi down there. He just took over from that. And I know he's sharing a bunch of wealth with them and knowledge. So I appreciate you jumping on too, Farron. Anybody else want to close? If not, we'll see you guys.
Mark, actually,
yes.
A quick question for you, Mark. So
yeah,
you
Farron.
said something that kind of triggered me when you were talking about a soft hand. When
Yep.
when the official was could have interacted with that coach. Being the son of a coach, my pop used to always he would say, I hate it when an official gives me this
The hard hand, right? It's the
hard
strong hand.
hand.
Yeah.
So one of the things that probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago I've tried to do is, Coach, I'm coming to you, coming at it instead of this and coming at you. And it really it's not as abrasive. It's not as I ain't trying to hear you right now. Just taking it from here to here. So that just made me think to share something with my guys and gals when it comes to an official who might not have had the actual call on the play, but the coach, they're right there on the coach, and the coach is going ape shit over there. So I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. Your dad being a coach. Yeah, I mean, just the body language, the things that we do with our hand gestures are huge, and it can actually make a situation go from 0 to 100, or it can go 0 and down. You know what I mean? So yeah, I appreciate you sharing that with us, because it's good to hear from coaches, because we need to know what they don't like. And something like that, like stop, this and this, man, I can only imagine, like, what are you? And then it escalates, right? So I appreciate you sharing that with that from your dad. Frank, what you got?
Hey, Marvin, could you check the site? Because I'm not paying more money than I have to, so I registered this weekend. But then when I tried to access the tests from all angles, I couldn't access the tests at all. I just kept getting a spinning, and I re-logged in and everything. So
It's because they're too easy. That's why they're too easy. This is
okay. I already did one. Can I get credit? We already did one. Damn. But yeah, I couldn't get them from.
My test is not up either, and I paid a month ago.
Yeah, okay.
Hopefully they're changing them. Hopefully they're making them harder for y'all.
Me too, Mark.
Yeah, you already did it. You already did it, Tony. You already did it, Tony.
No, I can't get to it.
Yeah, mine wasn't available either.
Filter issues, and they
You know
were
why?
working on it. So I've got Sanchez and Allen trying to work on that.
No.
To get it all fixed.
I took the 1999 test and I
I'll
passed
tell
it,
you why.
but that doesn't count.
No, I'll share a secret with you guys. So I know a guy that knows a guy. I made
got
a
a
phone
guy?
call. I know it. And I told him, yo, I've done the tests. They're easy, but I need you to go ahead and change them. So that's what they're doing right now.
So
Changing them for y'all.
you got credit, and then you're going to
did.
change it up. So that's how it is.
Because remember, I said
Okay.
I had to make the test. I'm like, yo, man, why am I going to make tests for you guys? Forget it. I've called a guy that knows a guy, and they took care of it. So good luck.
So
They're
you've
gonna be
already
100.
passed.
Yeah, but they're going
Nice.
to do 100 on each one.
Nice.
It's
Nice.
100 questions, closed book. Okay.
Per. And don't call me. My phone won't work for
Jesus.
like 2
Frickin'.
weeks. And
Yeah,
Good job, Mark.
your freaking Ting Mobile ain't working either.
no, it's not. I'll be in Horseshoe Bay for the next 2 weeks. Bad
Yeah,
service.
get off the jet ski, bitch.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Y'all enjoy your evening, guys. Stay safe.
All right. Thanks,
Thanks,
Mark.
Mark. Thanks, everybody.
Yep.